Yeah, so I gotta apologize about yesterday when I was just going at some scary pace with everything that I was talking about art yesterday. So I'm gonna continue my response from yesterday about art. Uh, and I just watched it to make sure I knew where I left off. That was kind of embarrassing, but totally expected. It was only a matter of time before I was going to go over the 14 minutes and 59-second limit. Did not take long at all. So, oh, someone's calling me. Too bad I don't care at this moment in time. So, anyway, so this, Mr. Lockhart was just arguing that math should not be taught in schools at all because the way that it is taught is completely wrong, and it was just something that has been belittled. He used the word belittled, and he said that it was similar to if a musician woke up from a nightmare, and the nightmare consisted of a bunch of schools that made music teaching mandatory, and how people, teachers would start grading on how well the half notes were filled in or left open. I mean, I'm sorry, if the quarter notes were filled in properly. I'm playing music since 4th grade, and I don't even know the names of all these things. It's almost like second nature. Well, anyway, and it's almost like but see, that's just it, and they don't teach it as a piece of somebody. They kind of teach it as, in this musician's nightmare, they're teaching music as a formulated science almost, instead of it just being, artistic and up to each individual's interpretation and feeling and emotion and everything else. And I as I'm reading this, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, that's horrific. I'm reading all this and I'm just like, that's horrible. I would never want music to just as he's belittled like that, just put to a formula, just put into a box when it's not really supposed to be boxed like that. Or if an artist woke up from a nightmare about how teachers started grading paint by numbers, and they were judging, how well you could figure out which exact shade needs to be used for which part of the zebra, you know what I'm saying? Or something like that, or something really that in a real artist's mind is something trivial and meaningless. So it's not something that really deserves to be touched and formalized, and that's how he feels about math, even though most of us might find that ironic because you think, well, math is formulas. Yes and no, but the way you're going to use those formulas and the way you're going to approach each problem, again, especially in the higher math, is extremely artistic. He was even going on to say that there is a certain flow and there's a certain rhythm and pace at which you're going to solve a problem. It was honestly beautiful to even read about, and never mind actually see this. I would love to see a mathematician go about math in its purest way, which I guess is artistic. And he was saying, and most people don't even acknowledge math like this. Even math teachers don't acknowledge math like this. So then the reader might argue, well, then obviously these people who teach math shouldn't be teaching it. And he's like, well, yeah, well, think about all the art teachers shouldn't be teaching art, and all the writing teachers that shouldn't be teaching creative writing. And I'm sitting there nodding my head like, well, yeah, that's definitely true. So, but the analytical nature and the interpretive nature and simplifying something into its most beautiful and purest, just its simplest form, that's how the artist of, I guess, the math world operates. So I'm just gonna. When I was reading I didn't finish reading the article, and I was just left speechless. I was just blown away with something that I hadn't even bothered to fully acknowledge until now, and I found it to be a beautiful thing, and I definitely would not hesitate to consider mathematics an art form. I'm actually going to wrap up my talk about art over 15 minutes later. I think I made my point. And CJ definitely made some major broad points that I would have spent another 15 minutes minimum making. So benefits to having CJ go first for once, right? So I had a lot of fun talking about this, and I appreciate anybody who actually bothered to not only watch the first video in its entirety, but then to watch this one. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure talking about this stuff, and if I have someone to listen, that's even cooler. And if there, by any chance, if there is any math geek out there that's watching this and wants to comment or critique, please, I would love to get insight on this whole math is indeed an art form thing. I think that's just crazy. It's almost like a revelation or something. I don't even know. But amazing nonetheless. So thank you very much for watching, and I will be starting off next topic, I think. I'll discuss with CJ. Either way, thank you. Adios.